Hey traders, it's Ryan from the Private Banker. Just going to do a quick recap for crude oil today. Quite a wild day. Suggested yesterday that hopefully the volatility was going to pick up with the two sort of compression ranges that we see over the last 2 days. And today was a pretty decent day. I mean, we see some good rotations. So I'm just going to go through what I saw in the day. I mean, overnight we see sort of quite a wild spike up. I mean, we've had all this news from the ECB out, and there was some other bits and pieces. But I mean, there was just this very weird spike up overnight. We sort of spiked up to right to this week's where this week's high opened. I mean, this is the weekly high. This was Sunday and Monday's trade. Obviously, the bank holiday was on Monday, so whatever it was just a holiday, a US holiday on the Monday, and the market spiked up all the way up to this price level in the pre-session, and then we opened back up inside the previous day's range. And we're seeing the same sort of type of behaviour at the moment. I mean, we started to see this previously. I can't remember where it was. We kept seeing these weird sort of spike highs overnight. Been a weird observation I've seen. I'm not too sure whether it's just people running weak stops or just overnight inventory corrections. I just really don't understand. No, but it doesn't really matter. I mean, obviously we focus on the perception of value and market generated information. So we came in today and we opened up inside range, and we sort of see that that open rotation where we spiked down to the previous day's value area low, and then we see some responsive bias back up, and then finally sort of that first period came in. There's nothing to really much to do there, as there's no sort of real references, and then finally there's that sort of spike higher in that B period above that previous day's high. I mean, it was into what I was looking at. It was into the distribution bell curve value area high sort of area. So this was an area of confidence I was looking at to potentially short. It would have been nicer to see if it a bit more deeper, but I mean, the market generated information was there. We came in and we tested again just above the Vwap, the previous day's value area high, and into the Globex developing Vwap on the day. And if we look at the footprint chart, I mean, there was just some great absorption there to give you a heads up that there was an interest in selling, and you can see there's just a load of resting sell orders on the bid, and then or on the ask actually. Obviously it's on the sell side, resting sell limits, and then we see these bids coming in quite strong, sort of capping that previous. There was just a cluster of volume there from yesterday. I mean, this is the VPUC from yesterday at 47.78, the previous day's high at 48.20, and it's just that above that previous value area high. So we see sellers capping that area. Also, the news came out of the ECB about the purchasing program, and the US dollar started to rally. So obviously, in turn, this sort of puts a bit of pressure on commodities. I mean, not too sure what gold did today. I've not had a look at the gold charts, but it was interesting to see sort of crude spike up higher, and then into the ECB announcement after it, we started to see the sellers back off and the market come back into that previous day's value where we were looking. So I mean, if we'd opened higher, there would have been a perception and a change of price, and we would have tackled this a bit differently. But I mean, we opened up in that previous day's range, so the expectation is rotational until proven otherwise. And obviously, what I was going through yesterday with a potential downside move. I mean, this is what happened overnight, and then we came back in. I mean, if we'd opened up here and we'd held above, it would have been a lot different scenario. But we came back in and we opened up basically just inside value here. We reject again above that the monthly developing value, which is also what I went through yesterday. And so this is a continuous back adjusted chart. I've just been playing with some bits and pieces. Just bear with me. Okay, so that's a bit better. So I just couldn't understand why I normally visualise the charts every night, and this looked a bit different. So we see that big cluster of volume sitting at yesterday's the monthly VWAP on yesterday's trade, and overnight we see that spike up to that half standard deviation into that sort of VPUC that we were talking about, and then we open back up below it. So obviously the next sort of destination is to come down and test the value area low. That's the sort of the idea of the rotations regards to the auction market, very sort of analogy. So that sort of was in line with everything that we were looking at. So obviously, like I said, off the open, there was just a great opportunity to sell. So we sold the market, and it's great. We see responsive sellers in the market. We started to see market auction below that previous value, and then traders started to cap that previous value with responsive sellers off of the Vwap, and we started seeing imbalance in the market. We came down, we tested below that previous day's low of day, so that's great. We've locked out any potential sort of one time frame in higher, and we've seen a pull back into a fall in developing value. And finally, when the crude inventory number came out at 11 o'clock, we see this responsive selling, and we ran all them stops that we were talking about yesterday, and we auctioned pretty much down through the distribution bell curve that we were talking about yesterday. So we nailed it down, and then we started to see this heavy volume coming in at the bottom of this distribution bell curve. So I mean, that's kind of telling me that this auction's not over, and we're potentially going to see a breakout away from this balance area. So I mean, we auctioned down, and we were one time frame, and all of a sudden we see this compression bar come in, and we finally broke that one time frame in. I mean, we'd also sort of completed our destination trade. I mean, I was taking profits on this trade into the monthly developing value area low, and then I was going to sort of see what the market did from there. And all we see was just a great mean reversion trade set up on the day. And I'm not going to sort of go into the details of it, but just the expectation was just once we broke the one time frame and see the compression come in and we hit that developing value area low, was to see a possible mean reversion trade back up to value, which ended up playing out beautifully. I mean, you can see here. I mean, we tested. We basically saw mean reversion all the way back up to the Globex developing value, and the Globex Vwap, and just the other side of the RTH trade. Just basically testing that previous day's low of day, and then we auctioned all the way back down again. So I mean, there was just great opportunities on both sides of the market today, and I'll just show you what I was looking at. I mean, in real time. So just bear with me. So I was just talking to someone on Skype, and I mean, this is just what I was saying. I mean, once we see this one time frame break and we see this pullback to the value, then the expectation was to possibly see a further breakdown. We see this big volume coming in. We'd already seen a poor low on the day, and so once I sort of took that mean reversion trade and then got filled, I just started to sell the market back down. With what I was looking for was a spike down into the close, into this sort of 46.60, 46.40 area, and a possible breakdown away from this value area. I mean, that's what I was looking at, and it's going to obviously explain what I've seen now. So we filled that target into the close, and we spiked down, and I'm just going to quickly show you what I was actually looking at before it happened. So this was the profile on the day, and you can see here that value had shifted down. If we look at the J period, if we split this out, the point of control started to shift down as well. Should have shifted down. I think it was in K, maybe it shifted down. It definitely, the point of control definitely shifted down, and like I said, value was pulling down, and we've clearly seen a dislocation from that previous day. We sort of taken out some good stops, and there's just this real good area that I was looking at for a potential breakdown through the 0.95s. I mean, this was the last sort of real low reference at that 45.95 the reference was. So this was an area of a go no go sort of trade, and we're either going to see a sort of breakout and a big stop run and price expiration to the downside to my next sort of target area, which was going to be, like I said, this sort of 45.50, 45.40 area, and or we're going to see what we saw. So the market broke down, and we tested. We continued to see price expiration and this spike down. And then all we see was this huge amount of buying absorption. I mean, once we sort of ran through that level, we created an excess on the low of day. You can see here the market spiked down, and there was just a load of resting buy orders here. I mean, if you look all the way through, there was just 491 on the bid, and then on the ask is 246, and there's just a huge cluster of buyers and sellers all the way down here. So this was just telling me that there was people here with resting buy orders cutting off the sellers, and yet behold, the market spiked back into the day's range, and if we look at the market now, I mean, we're already trading higher today. So I mean, this is kind of finished off possibly the distribution bell curve now. I mean, for the moment, if we look at this now, I mean, before, this is what I was looking at just before it happened. I mean, so we've got this nice distribution bell curve here, we've got excess at the high, low, nice distribution bell curve here, excess at the high. Now all of a sudden we've got no excess at the low. I mean, we do have some drying out volume, but there's no excess on the low. There's no excess telling me that the auction's complete. And this is where I was looking for this breakdown into this sort of 45.60, 45.40 for my sort of targets on this trade. And as I said, the market came down, we spiked, and then we see these responsive buyers capping the prices down here, and then we see price come back into this distribution into the close. So we've seen the spike now, we've seen the completion of this auction, and yet behold, Globex is open, and we've seen a spike higher now. So it'd be interesting to see what happens tomorrow. And are we going to open back in for some more two-way trade? I mean, we're going to open higher and hold higher, and then completely dislocate from this area and possibly perform a price exploration and just higher value, or are we going to see an open lower, and again are we going to see reversions to the mean? Are we going to hold lower value and then come down and test these lower prices? I mean, this is just what I'm looking at for the moment, but obviously just a couple basic scenarios, just obviously around the distribution bell curve and auction market theory, but very interesting to see what's happened. I mean, like I said, I was expecting a nice sort of spike down here and maybe possibly run them stops below that 95 sort of 45, 95. Getting a bit tongue-tied again here, but we just didn't see that happen. And again, like I said, we just see them passive buyers stepping in and capping the market at this price now. So, and also that does happen to be the monthly developing value area low there. So I mean, at the moment we are just holding balance, two-way trade, and we are still finding sort of these innovative sort of buyers or responsive buyers from the developing value area low now. So if we do, it'd be interesting to see how we finish off this week. I mean, if we do hold this low of this 45.85 where it was in the pit, then obviously the expectation is to see a rotation to the developing value area higher. I mean, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Well, 6 days, trading days left of this month now. So obviously we need some vital clues whether we're going to close inside for a neutral, we're going to close above for a potential buy side imbalance, or below for a sell side imbalance. Just have to see how we close this month now. But again, we are still seeing rotational balance two-way trades. So it's going to be really interesting to see how we finish the day off tomorrow. And obviously this late spike we've just seen off the Globex opens, also very interesting. Just a pull back again to that 10 exponential moving average on the day, and so we'll have to see sort of who wins here and what way the market decides to give. But at the moment, like I said, we've got excess on this low now, so it's going to be very important. And it depends on how we open tomorrow. It depends on how we sort of tackle this with how we trade this market. But again, like I said, today was a very lucrative day. There was a lot of opportunity on both sides of the market, and there was some great trades to be taken. Regards tomorrow, I mean, yesterday I said sort of wanted to see possibly the market test lower. I mean, the market's tested lower, and we've seen responsive buyers now. So, I mean, I'm very, very neutral on the trade at the moment, and just depending on where we open and depending on how we sort of tackle this. But regards my expectations, I just have no expectations at this moment in time. I'm very neutral on the current situation. Anyway, I'll leave it at that, and any questions please ask. I'll catch you tomorrow. Take care and goodbye.